Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you guys once again for joining the 9 Innings podcast hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson, founder and CEO of 9 Capital Group. Thank you guys for joining us. As I always say, subscribe to the channel. As I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@9icapitalgroup.com. Send us your questions. Go to the website at www.9icapitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, engage, and also entertain. Today we're talking about where there's a will, there's a way. We're beginning our estate planning session, and today we're talking about you and what you need to do in the estate planning process. Do you need a will? Well, we're going to discuss that. Let's get it. So welcome to the show. Today we're talking about wills and trust. Not wills and trust, but just wills. Just a simple, basic will and last testament. I can't tell you the countless number of times I've seen someone pass away intestate, meaning they died without a will. And what happens next? The kids are scrambling. No one knows where anything is. They're digging through file cabinets, trying to find bank account statements, insurance policies, passwords, what have you. Months, sometimes years, going into the probate court at a cost that they didn't need to incur. Easily in the thousands. All this could have been avoided with a carefully crafted will and last testament. Not because the will magically avoids probate. No. We'll talk more about that, but because it streamlines the process. It gives you direction, it offers clarity, and more importantly, it protects your family from chaos at one of the most precious moments and worst possible times and events. So, what does a will actually do? It's not just a document. It's a set of instructions. It tells the court and your loved ones who gets what, who's in charge of carrying out your wishes, who will raise the kids if they're minors. Without a will, the state decides, full stop. You don't want to put this into the judge's hands. That means your estranged siblings or a relative you haven't seen in 10 years might legally be able to get some of those assets. You don't want to have these people inheriting something that you did not intend for them to inherit. Not the person that you trust or love, or you believe is a good steward of your legacy, but some random family member. We don't want that. And if you have children, the court will decide who raises them. Let that sink in. We don't want the judge making decisions on your behalf. Always remember, a will is probatable. That goes through the court system. But if you give the judge directives with your will and last testament, it makes the process that much smoother. So here is where the rubber meets the road. The essential legal documents that you're going to need when you craft your will and last testament. This is the cornerstone, but it's not the whole house. Let's talk about the other key documents every estate plan needs. 1, power of attorney. This gives someone the legal authority to handle your financial affairs if you become incapacitated. That can mean paying bills, managing investments, or even selling property on your behalf. You don't want your family jumping through legal hoops while you're lying in the hospital bed. Give someone you trust the authority now before it is needed. And when I say before it is needed, I mean when it is needed, because it's not an if, it's a when. 2, financial power of attorney. This could be included in your general POA or separate. It strictly covers financial matters like brokerage account, taxes, retirement plans, etc. Think of it as giving someone the keys to the vault in a responsible way. Banks are going to need these things. Institutions are going to need these things. So those individuals, such as your kid or trusted individual, will be able to have conversations on your behalf to move money and pay for things on your behalf. 3, medical power of attorney. So now let's get a little bit personal. This is the person who can make medical decisions on your behalf if you can't speak for yourself. Do you want aggressive treatment? Do you want to be resuscitated, kept on life support? It's not a conversation like we want to have, but it's one of the most important things we put in writing. The medical power of attorney needs to be addressed. Needs to be addressed. I'm going to say that again. And lastly, the durable power of attorney. Durable just means this power continues even if you become mentally or physically incapacitated. Without the durable POA, everything your family might need to do, from accessing accounts to selling property to paying medical bills, may require a court order. And during a crisis, that delay can be devastating. It could be devastating. It could cost you property. There could be liens on your property. There could be things like overdrafts on accounts. All kinds of things can happen. So, financial power of attorney, regular power of attorney, medical power of attorney, durable power of attorney, all of these things are needed in this process, and they all work together. Very powerful documents and much, much needed. So as you know, the fro is out right now. I have my deep V going, but here are some common mistakes and misconceptions that people make. So I want to get real for a second. This is some of the biggest mistakes that I see. People think they're too young to need a will. I don't have any assets. What do I need a will for? I don't have any kids. Again, just having these on the docket is crucial. You don't know when you're going to be incapacitated. You don't know when people are going to need to pay for things for you. You don't know when a possible stroke or something's going to happen to you. So it's important to have this in your documentation, whether it be, you know what, I'm too young, but I want my mother and them to make these decisions, or my mother or my father or my parents or my significant or my brother to take care of these things. It's always important. You're never too young. 2, they assume a spouse will automatically get everything. That is not always true, especially in a probatable world, and especially when you have separate property. Think about it this way. You go into a marriage, you have separate property going into that marriage. That separate property is not automatically your spouse's. If you have $500,000 or whatever that you inherited from your folks, and now you pass away, that money could be totally separate from what you have jointly, unless there's some documentation stating that this is something considered joint. And again, depending on what state you live in, and again, I'm not trying to get into law here, that money could go to someone else in your family, maybe next of kin or something, what have you. Maybe your parents' trust had that money separate, and that money is supposed to stay on this side of the fence to go somewhere else. Who knows? I don't know the gist of that, but what I'm going to tell you is you can't automatically assume just because you're married that separate property or any type of property is going to go to your spouse. It all depends on the state, of course. And the next one, you may have downloaded a cheap template online and never updated it. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people not updating their wills. Things change. You gain assets. You start opening different accounts. You start having children. Anything. You get married. What have you. Things change and wills need to be updated. Possibly on a decade, maybe on a decade by decade basis. Or when you have a life event. Things change, and wills and last testaments need to change as your life changes. So, a will is not a one and done. Life changes. Your documents should too. Marriage, divorce, children, new business ventures. These all require updates, and you need to be on top of those updates when they occur. So, I'm going to wrap this up. I think it's powerful. This is our first of many on the estate planning side, the will and last testament. Here's the main takeaways I want you to get from this last 10, 15 minutes, because I want to keep these short. If you don't have a will, now it's time to get one. If you haven't updated your powers of attorney or medical directives in the last 3 to 5 years, it's time to review them. If you don't know where these documents are, which a lot of times is the case, or if your loved ones don't, fix that today. Estate planning isn't just for the wealthy, it's for everyone who loves someone. This is a must do, and if you have questions, you know who to call. We have partnered with a wonderful group. They've allowed us to put this into people's lives, very, very cost effective. And we provide this for all of our clients. And we think this is something that goes along the traditional financial planning process. Thank you guys for joining the 9 Innings podcast. I hope you felt this was a powerful episode, because you know what? A will and last testament is something that everyone needs, no matter what your income level, no matter what kind of assets you have, because it allows for what? The people that you love most to go through the probate process very smoothly. It puts the directives in place, because once you pass away, the trust is created and all that information is directed by the trust exactly how you planned it out. Now, it doesn't avoid probate, but it does make the probate process a little bit more streamlined, because people know exactly what they're looking for, where to go, where the assets are, and it's not like you're playing a game of Clue. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. Go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. You have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@9icapitalgroup.com. Send us your questions. Go to the website at www.9icapitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, engage, and also entertain. Follow us on all social media at MLB to CFP or at 9iCap. Again, we're talking about estate planning essentials. If this episode struck a chord, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Next time, we're going to talk about trust. What are they? How do they work? And why they may be a better option or a better tool for your estate planning needs than you think. And if you're ready to start building your plan, visit us at our website, www.9icapitalgroup.com. Shoot us a message or schedule an appointment. Thank you guys for joining us. Until next time, stay humble, stay safe. We'll see you again soon.